streams live here. Oh no, it doesn't. Right. Am I finally live? Am I finally live? Please tell me I'm live. I'm starting to despair of the problems that I'm having. Excellent condition. Doesn't look like excellent condition. Doesn't look like I'm live either because I can't I can't get it up. It just says waiting for that foreign bloke. I'm trying to look at it on my phone. So you can see me and hear me, Darren. Okay. Well, that's really weird because I can't see myself. Oh, now it's come up finally. Thank you. Thank God for that. Okay. What I was trying to tell you, I'll start from the beginning. Let's start from the beginning because it's been a bloody cock up and it's already 2:45. I just started. I've been testing and doing everything for about an hour beforehand. Everything working fine. Lovely jubbly. Hello, Nicholas. Thanks very much. Yeah, better late than never, I suppose. I'm using an external camera, or I should be using an external camera, and just as I start, it disconnects the external camera, and I use an app as well for the external camera called IV Cam, which is probably still on the thing, waiting for IV Cam. And I tried, and I tried, and I tried, and I tried, and I just couldn't get it to. To work. So I have to come over to my PC camera, which is not very good, but I suppose it's better than nothing. And that's what I'm doing. So I'm on my PC camera now, and I'm not using the external camera. So it's the PC's camera, it's the PC's mic, and yeah, it's what it is. It's really difficult when you prepare everything and you test everything and then it all goes pear-shaped. But I suppose that's live for you. That's what happens if you film a vlog. You can just edit out the bad bits or reshoot something or whatever. Anyway, let's move on and see if we can't find something to show you. Basically, obviously, as I've said, I'm trying to do a live stream one week and a vlog the next week because of what I find as difficult to find content here. I have filmed a little bit during the week, but there hasn't been much going on. This week coming, I will be working again, so there's not much else going on really. I'm going to have my COVID vaccine booster, the first one, so it'll be my third COVID vaccine this week, so that's something very exciting to look forward to. But anyway, excuse me. Thailand. I wanted to talk about a few things that were going on in Thailand. Just nothing too serious. Keeping out of the politics and the sensitive, really sensitive subjects. But obviously, those of you will have seen that I put up as the title of the video. How much for a hot mama? Now that was a bit of a play on words because obviously some people like to go to Thailand to find the ladies, but those of you who've been following any sort of Thai news, and certainly I'm sure Simo will be aware of this, I'm talking of course of mama noodles, and mama noodles are very popular in Thailand, and they're very popular with us. We eat a lot of them, and they are subject to a price control, and it's been in the papers that the manufacturers want to increase the price of mama noodles, which they need permission from the government to do because mama noodles are subject to as I say, a price cap by the government. So they wanted to increase the price by 2 baht because of the rising costs. as with most places in the world, Thailand is also subject to a lot of rising costs, not just in the West. Raw materials, fuel and so on is much more expensive now than before. Anyway, finally they did get permission to raise the price, but it wasn't by 2 baht, it was by 1 baht. Now, this is the first time they've been allowed to increase the price in 14 years, and I wasn't aware of that fact, and I had read a few comments, oh, greedy manufacturers and blah blah blah. Now, I don't know what the margin is on a packet of instant noodles, but they were finally allowed to increase the price. Anyway, the government decided that they could increase the price, and that price increase is 1 baht, not 2, and the maximum price now is 7 baht per packet as of the 25th of August. The thing that I thought was interesting about this was if you sell Mama, YY, Yum Yum and these noodles, this is the normal ones in the packet now, not the cup noodles or the extra size, the standard size ones. If you sell these for more than 7 baht, you could be liable to 7 years in prison or a fine of up to 140,000 baht, which does seem rather steep. But I guess they are a staple food, especially for people on low incomes or whatever. You know, 7 baht for a packet of noodles is, I suppose, is okay price. I mean, for us, 7 baht, 8 baht, it doesn't make much difference really, but they're cheap and cheerful, and we eat quite a lot. I know they're very popular in Singapore. Darren, you probably can confirm that. I don't know whether you eat them, but sort of instant noodles are very popular in a lot of Asia. But I watched a documentary or news program from Singapore about the instant noodles, and now they're not really very good for you and so on. But that was the story that I wanted to share with you, the price of instant noodles. Don't know whether you those of you who watch my videos eat any Thai instant noodles. Joe eats them a lot. I eat them occasionally. I cannot eat them just as they are with just the seasoning and things that comes with them. I usually have to add quite a few things, you know, some meatballs and some veg and all sorts of stuff, because I find them a bit boring on their own. But meatballs are meatballs, and meatballs are meatballs. Noodles are noodles, and they're okay. Yes, very popular in Singapore and Malaysia. Yeah, I thought so. I watched. I can't remember the program now, Dan, but it's a kind of a news investigative journalism program, and I think the guy who's on it is called Steve and something. I watch quite a lot, and it's from Singapore, and he did a sort of he does investigative journalism stuff, but it's about food mostly, food related, and he did this thing trying to look for healthier alternatives, because they're not actually, because they're fried. Mama noodles and the likes of are fried before they're dried, so they are, you know, deep fried noodles. So what are we saying? Coffee shops, food stalls in Singapore and Malaysia will offer mama noodles as a modified dish, like fried noodles. Yeah, same in Thailand. I mean, you know, a lot of restaurants and places, you know, you can have a yam mama or a whatever you want with mama as a, yeah, not healthy. No, they're certainly not healthy. They are, I think, I didn't realise they were as unhealthy as they are, but I didn't realise they were deep fried until I watched this Singaporean documentary, as I say, and they showed how they were made and stuff, and they're actually deep fried as part of the process of making them. So anyway, they're going up in Thailand to 7 baht. They've gone up at the end of last week, late on last week, and they're now going to cost you 7 baht a packet if you want to buy them in Thailand. Here in Sweden we pay about 6 krona a packet, which is in today's money is about 22 baht for one packet. So yeah, most things are 3 times to 4 times the price here, and the same wherever you go. If you want to eat imported food from the other side of the world, it costs you more money. Anyway, let's have a look at another story which took my eye. And this might be interesting to those of you who have cars and drive in Thailand. The mandatory seatbelt law that is coming in, yes, deep fried. Deep fried. Most things that are deep fried are very nice. In fact, pretty much anything, if you deep fry it, you can make it nice, Darren. So, yeah, I know the score with that. Yeah, there's a law coming in 5th of September. Mandatory seat belts for all who are seated in a vehicle. So, in other words, that means the back seat. There is a law for sitting in the front. I have the distinction or lack thereof of being fined once. I was fined in Udon Thani. We were on our way out from Udon Thani. We were heading down to Rayong or to Koh Sang. I don't know. We were on a long journey and we hadn't even left Udon Thani. I was on the ring road and I got stopped by the Tamrat, the Royal Thai Police, and I got a fine of 500 baht for not wearing my seatbelt. So obviously I was driving at the time, but now this new law is coming in for all passengers, ones in the back as well. However, whether this law is going to be enforced or not is all a bit up in the air, because the question has occurred, or the question has come up now, hence a few days later this headline: Department softens seatbelt rule. What about people in the back of pickups? Now, this is what the this fellow Police General Damrong Kitty Prapas said. The new law will only allow at most 3 passengers in the back row seats of a truck's cabin and 6 people in a cargo bed. So if there's 5 of you in the, like we've got our pickup with back seat, if there's 5 of us travelling in there, we'd all have to have our seatbelts on, but we could have 6 people in the back on the cargo bed without seatbelts, which does kind of make the introduction of seatbelts, or rather the compulsory wearing of seatbelts inside the pickup, does make it kind of a little bit I don't know, nullifies that, I think. But the problem obviously is that a lot of people rely on using pickups to transport people around, and workers and so on. And unfortunately, as with a lot of things, the idea behind it is absolutely the correct one, that people should all wear a seatbelt if they're travelling in a vehicle. Unfortunately, they bring out the law before they decide what to do about, i.e., the passengers who are sitting on the back of a pickup, where it might have been better to have a consultancy period where they looked at Steve. Good afternoon, Steve. It might have been good where they had a consultancy period where they looked at all these things and decided what they were going to do before they brought out the law. So I don't know whether people are going to start getting fined next week or whenever it's the 5th of September, next weekend. But I think my recommendation would be, if you want to be sure of not getting a fine, make sure everybody's wearing a seatbelt in the back of your pickup, and don't have more than 3 people in the back. Again, in Thailand, it's kind of normal to have 8 people in the cabin and in the cab, and then people on the back of the pickup as well. But it seems a little bit unclear yet as to what and when the law will be and when it will be enforced and so on. But that is a story that's current at the minute. So yeah, keep your eyes on that one, and we will see what happens. let me have a quick look at this to see how it looks. I think everybody can hear me and see what I'm trying to show on the slides I'm trying to show. Again, I apologise for the technical difficulties. If I hadn't decided that I was going to show some pictures and images and whatever, I might have just decided, sod this, I'll do it on my phone. The problem is, on your phone, it's more difficult when you want to do a... yeah, I don't know, Darren, what the government are going to do about tuk-tuks and songtiao. I mean, songtiao is a good one because if they're saying, well, you can have 6 people on the back of a pickup. Now, a songtiao will have... could have however many on the back of it, but it's still, at the end of the day, it's still a pickup, and you could have, you know, a dozen people on the back of a songtiao. Songtiao is what, I hate the expression, but people who go to Pattaya seem to like to call the bat bus, and I really hate that, and I never call it that. I never even heard of it actually, but we'll call it a songtiao. Yeah, I don't know what the, again, I don't know what the law would be for that, because I mean, songtiao in Udon Thani are the bus service. I mean, that there are almost no buses, city buses now I'm talking about. There was a very nice new bus service, the Udon Thani city bus, I think it was called, and it had about 3 routes and it had air-conditioned buses and stuff. But basically, if you want to get around inside of the ring road, and I'm not talking about out to towns nearby and what have you, then you need to use a songtiao, because that is, or a taxi, because that is the only alternative, and they are the method of transport for getting about around town. So what they're going to do about that, I wouldn't like to say, to be honest with you, but we shall see when there will obviously be you know, there will obviously be decisions made about that. Tuk-tuks, I don't know, that they're a little bit different, because depends where you are. Obviously, the one tuk-tuks in Bangkok and tuk-tuks in Udon and in the north of Isan are slightly different. The ones in the north of Isan are 3-wheelers and have like a motorbike front with a sort of a songtiao style back part. Tuk-tuks in Bangkok are not quite the same. They are more like a car in that they have the sort of the back area, which is like seating. So I've no idea what they're going to do with them, but it all seems to be a bit up in the air at the minute. So we shall see. Let me just have a look at this again to see what is what. There I am, in case the camera's decided it's not working again. We will have a look at that in a bit. Let's have a look at another story that I came upon. Yeah, electricity bills in Thailand. This one is an interesting one. It's you know, it's happening all over the world at the minute, with increases in energy costs and what have you. Here in Sweden, there is talk of possible. Now there is an election coming up in Sweden here at the beginning of next month, early next month. So what will be might not be, and what might not be might be, but there is talk of possible discounts or help from the government here, because they're expecting record high prices. And obviously in the UK there is cost of living crisis is very high on the agenda, and especially the cost of electricity and energy and what have you, heating and gas and all that kind of thing. However, in Thailand, where we are focusing, the price of electricity is due to go up in September. So those of you who have houses in Thailand will be affected by that. We have the farm and we have the house, and the farm is on farm electric, which is not the same. It's actually cheaper than domestic electricity. We have what they call CET, which is farmers' electricity. So that doesn't come under this particular increase and or this particular discount. But basically what's going to happen is the price is going to go up in September, but there's going to be a discount. So I think the price is going to go up about $1 per unit, per kilowatt hour. However, September through to December, there will be discounts. As you can see here, if you use up to 300 kilowatt hours, we use less than 300 kilowatt hours at the house when we're not living at it, because Joe's niece doesn't use much electric, and we only have one air conditioning unit, which is in the bedroom, which does use an awful lot of electric when we are there. But even on an expensive month, I don't think we use more than about 600 when we've lived there the whole month and used that aircon. But for us, we would be under the 300 units, and we would be getting a discount of 92 satang per unit. So, you know, the increase would be almost plus minus none. That's a bit of a half Swedish saying. Plus or minus zero because of that. But there will be other discounts available. So those of you who've got houses in Thailand, you might want to keep your eye on that so that you know. Next story. Thai tourism continues to recover with 4 million arrivals already this year. Mixed feelings about this story, because I am pleased that tourism is recovering, but I'm a little bit skeptical as to the number of arrivals. Not that the number is a false number, the fact that I don't think a lot of them are actually tourists. The government is hoping by the end of the year to have had 10 million arrivals. How many of them are tourists? I don't know. There will be obviously people like us who are semi-permanent residents who have been away for the summer or whatever and coming back. But I think a lot of them might well be workers, because when I started reading through, and you will see at the end on this particular piece, the Tourism Authority of Thailand said that the cumulative number of foreign tourists entering Thailand up until the 16th of August was 4,015,000 approximately. Now, the thing that gets me, it says, of which most were from Malaysia, India, the Lao People's Democratic Republic, Singapore and the United Kingdom. Now, obviously, Indians, Singaporeans and folk from the United Kingdom, apart from expats, the majority of them will be tourists. But I doubt that the majority of people coming from either Laos or Malaysia are tourists. I know that there are Malaysian tourists who come to Thailand. There are Laotians who come to Thailand as well, touring, but they are just arrivals. That doesn't mean necessarily that they're tourists. I don't think they distinguish between whether you've arrived because you're a tourist or whether you've arrived because you come to look for a job or whatever. So I'm not sure about those figures, but if they can get that figure up to 10 million, that's still a long way from what it was pre-pandemic, when we were talking about up to almost 40 million. But it's coming back slowly but surely, and I'm really keeping my fingers crossed that there will be a proper tourist season this year, and that those who rely on tourism will be able to claim back something of their business if they still have a business, and those that start out new will have some customers to deal with. My impression whenever I'm on holiday in a touristy part of Thailand is that even before COVID, there seemed to be an awful lot of shops, restaurants, you name it, catering for too little tourists in a lot of places. I mean, I'm not saying that there aren't a lot of tourists, but if you go to places like Koh Chang, you know, a lot of the place is almost empty, even though it was high season. You know, restaurants and what have you. So I don't know how they'll get on with that, but we shall see. Hopefully that those figures will continue to rise. Obviously now it's easy, straightforward. I watched somebody on YouTube who just arrived and said it was dead easy now. They just came straight into Don Muang and got their 30-day stamp in their passport, visa exemption, and they were on their way. So that's a good sign that they didn't need to show. They weren't even asked for their COVID certificate and things. Now you still technically need to have these things, but that's very good. And the other good thing is that's in this piece is that they're increasing that visa-free period as well. If you want to come on holiday, I think it's about 65 countries, 64 countries, but basically all the Western countries, all the EU countries, the UK, the US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and so on, could get 30-day stamp, a visa exemption on arrival in Thailand as a tourist. That could be extended, of course, for another 30 days if you went to immigration for 1,900 baht. But they did extend that under COVID because there was a requirement for 2 weeks quarantine, and that ended. But to try and boost tourism, they are looking to extend that again between the 1st of October and the end of March, so that you would get now 45 days visa free as a Western tourist, quite possibly as a non-Western tourist as well from places like Singapore, but not sure about that. But 45 days, so that would allow you to stay a little over 6 weeks, which, you know, for a lot of people is attractive. You know, if you come on holiday. Before we when we were working and we were running our restaurant here and working full time here, and we could only take a holiday, we used to take 6-week holiday, but that always meant having to go to Stockholm to get a tourist visa, so that once we arrived I could be here for 60 days, you know, up to 60 days. So that 45 days, I think there's a lot of people who would come and they would be looking at staying for a little bit longer than the 30 days, you know, in 6 weeks. That's great. So hopefully that will also help boost tourism. Let's have another look. How are we doing? 3:15. Yeah, I mean, we didn't start till 2:45, but let's have another look. Yeah, a minute. I'm still there for those of you who are watching. Let's have a look at those again. Right, next story. What did we have? Anything on nothing? Ah, yes. This one was I just put this one in. This is the last of my stories that I've got anything to, any post to show. This was I thought it was a nice story, and it was concerning Udon Thani as well. This cabbie, if you haven't heard the story, it's a Bangkok cabbie, and he was given praise because he gave a poor family a free ride to Udon Thani in his taxi. Now, what happened was this family were poor and were living in Bangkok in some rented accommodation, a single room accommodation. Cost of flights. Steve, let me just interrupt my Bangkok cabbie story. Yeah, cost of flights. Flights are expensive at the minute. That will obviously be a downside to the increase in tourism. I can tell you that our flights for the if you didn't see my previous vlog and the live stream 2 weeks ago, our flights for the 1st of November back to Thailand were a lot more than we normally pay. However, it does look like prices are not too bad if you're looking for touristy type return tickets. Now, we always travel on a single ticket because it's very difficult. Most of the airlines haven't published their prices anyway, so if you do a search for a return ticket for like 7 or 8 months in advance the return date or more, I mean, I bought these tickets 2 months in advance, and if we're not coming back for another 8 months, that'll be like 10 months. But so they often don't have so many to choose from. But if you look at kind of outside of the Christmas and New Year, which is always expensive, the prices from here up in Northern Europe seemed okay, but prices for our single tickets were not cheap compared to normal, I have to say. They were double what we would normally pay, probably, almost. Or certainly what we could pay before, when there was either a pre-pandemic kind of level of flying or pre-war in Ukraine level of flying. Obviously, certain airlines are no longer flying, so the competition and so on is minimised, and obviously some airlines, especially for us, and in Finland even more so, and what have you, have to fly quite a long way round now, so that adds to costs, I suppose. But yeah, the cost of flights is obviously going to affect tourism numbers, but I don't think that's particularly relevant to Thailand. You know, it will affect flights to anywhere. Yeah, I mean, Emirates from here is always quite expensive. We're flying with Qatar Airways. Emirates tend to be more expensive than Qatar Airways most of the time. And like I say, double the price. I think the thing is, if you're a tourist and you want to go on a sunshine holiday in the winter, and you live in most of Europe, well, all of Europe really, because there's nowhere warm and sunny in Europe, hot and sunny, you know, in the winter. Or you live in the large parts of the US or Canada or whatever. You're going to have to go long distance to find a sunshine holiday, and flights are going to be expensive whether you decide you're going to go to the Philippines, to Vietnam, to Thailand, or whatever. Obviously, if you're in America, Canada, it might be cheaper just to go down to the Caribbean, obviously, than going all the way to Southeast Asia. But I think, you know, for a lot of Europeans, or for Europeans rather, you know, to go anywhere where it's hot and sunny, it's going to be expensive, because you've got to have to travel long distances. I mean, you can go to the Canary Islands, which is about the only place really for Europeans to get much sunshine, but it's not hot in over the winter. You know, I mean, it's warm, it's sunny. If you don't like it too hot, it's all right. You know, I like the Canary Islands. I used to work out in the Canary Islands many years ago, but you're really going to have to go a long way to find hot and sunny from Europe. You're either going to have to go to the Caribbean, which is a long way from most of Europe, or you're going to have to go to Southeast Asia, or quite possibly to somewhere like the Seychelles or whatever. It's going to be expensive wherever you go. So I don't think the cost of flights generally is going to deter people too much from Thailand. Now I'm getting a strange thing on my phone here. Anyway, let me have a quick look at that. Yeah, I don't think I'm getting very good quality of stream out at the minute, but as I haven't shown you any moving pictures, I don't think it really matters too much. But yeah, the prices are expensive at the minute. We can come back to those things after we've finished on this last story that I was going to show you. This taxi driver, he was praised anyway for giving this family a free ride to them. Basically, the family, a poor family looking for work, a couple, have a small baby. The baby was not well and was crying and screaming in the night, and they basically got kicked out of where they were staying because their landlord couldn't stick the noise from the baby, and they had nowhere to go and a small baby and so on, and they wanted to go home but they couldn't afford it. So he decided to give him a free ride, which was very nice of him. He said he had just over 1,000 baht in his wallet, and he thought that would be enough for gas for his car, his taxi, and to get up and back down to Udon Thani. And he thought he would help him out, which is very nice. And it's not a small journey. I mean, from central Bangkok up to Udon Thani is knocking on 600 kilometers each way. So, you know, for him to do that, I thought that was very nice of him. Anyway, he's got a lot of praise, and he was in the news outlets and what have you. So, fair play to him. Anyway, that was all the stories that I was thinking about sharing with you today. Obviously, if there is anything else to tell you, we can talk about that. I do apologise once again for the dodgy start of this live stream. I'll keep at it, and it will work eventually one day, someday, really smoothly, and the video won't be buffering and so on, and everything will be hunky-dory, and the sound quality will be excellent, and what have you. I don't plan on doing regular live streams so much after we go back. So there's going to be about another, I don't know how many, 5 more I think before we go back, or maybe that's 4 or 5 more in the next 2, 4, 6, 8 weeks. So yeah, that might be 4 more. After that, I will do spontaneous ones. I will still be putting out my vlog on a Sunday, but it will be a vlog every Sunday once we're in Thailand. And I think there might be a spontaneous live stream rather than a planned one like this.